So welcome everyone to the Chamber of Commerce Coffee Club annual meeting, COVID Escape, and River Raisin Center for the Arts Stadium. I'm welcome and glad to be here with you with our chairperson now, Dr. Steve McNew. I'm Matt Buds, the past chairperson, and as you know, we're in a little bit of interesting times, an interesting schedule. And so our passing of the gavel, or as you'll see later, our pitching change happening a bit later in the season than we would normally expect. We'd like to thank all of you for being here today, and I know it's obviously a small and socially distanced crowd, and we appreciate all of that. And welcome anyone that's watching us either on YouTube or later by a video recording. As I'll give you a few ground rules in just a moment, before we start, as with any of our sporting events, and some of us haven't had the opportunity to join those much, I'm going to turn to Dr. McNew, who's going to have our flag, we're going to have the national anthem, and we're going to try to pretend like we have the ability to go to a sporting event. All right? Well, I hope that you have all had a chance to visit the Chamber concession stand out there and get some Tim Hortons this morning, get your coffee. We'll start off here with just a moment and get to the first pitch, but as all of you know, if you've ever seen a baseball broadcast, we have to make a quick commercial break first. And so here in Chamber World, that means that we're going to invite our platinum speaker, or I should say our platinum sponsors, to come up and speak for just a moment, give us a quick bit of information about how things are with their business. And our first platinum game sponsor today is Lazy Boy. From Lazy Boy, we have Sue Manisacker, and rather than make any of our sponsors take the treacherous way up the stairs here, Sue's going, and all our sponsors are going to talk them right down below here.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you, Matt. When I thought about what I was going to talk about today about Lazy Boy, I thought about the Chamber's mission to foster innovation and collaboration. And the true meaning of those words has never been more impactful than what we've witnessed during the last 6 months. The COVID-19 pandemic has changed the way we are all doing business. One thing that is vital and critical is the collaboration that we have witnessed between businesses, both for-profit and non-profit. Since 1927, Lazy Boy has been proud to give back to the community, especially during these unprecedented times. We were proud to manufacture and donate hundreds of thousands of masks and tens of thousands of medical gowns to healthcare workers, nonprofit organizations, and supplier organizations. We donated recliners to healthcare workers to make sure that they were able to relax after a grueling shift. And the Lazy Boy Foundation donated money to local nonprofit groups in the areas where we do business. And a few highlights were $50,000 to the Monroe Family YMCA for their emergency food program, $25,000 to MCOP for pandemic response, $10,000 to the Community Foundation, and a shout out to my friends at DTE, the United Way, First Merchants Bank, ITC Holdings, and ProMedica. Am I missing anybody, Molly? No. Great collaboration and teamwork. for putting together our Back to Work kits for businesses and nonprofit organizations, $5,000 to the United Way, $5,000 to the American Red Cross for antibody testing, and money to MCCC, Monroe County Community College, for their face shield program. We're in the process of donating Clorox 360 electrostatic sprayers to our school systems to help with a safe back to school. We're in the middle of our Summer of Caring at Lazy Boy, and while it's looking a little bit different, we are virtually volunteering at different places around the world. And last but not least, we are donating $1 million worth of furniture to frontline nurses through our 1 Million Thanks campaign. This is to say thank you to our nurses and medical professionals that are helping to keep us safe through this. So it's not too late for you to give your thanks. So if you go to lazyboy.com and look at hashtag 1 Million Thanks, you can upload a thanks of your own. Again, thank you all businesses of Monroe County for your collaboration and innovation during these tough times.
Thank you very much, Sue. And thank you to Lazy Boy for all they're doing in the community. Another Platinum game sponsor today is DTE Energy, and our player from DTE Energy today is Molly Lumpert-Coy.
Well, folks, it's great to be here today, and I just want to do a shout out to Michelle and her staff for getting us together. It's wonderful to be able to see everybody. It's been a long time, right? We've been able to see each other virtually, but not in person. So it's great to be here. DTE is very active, just like Lazy Boy and some of our other partners that are out there helping during this COVID time. It's a different world that we're in, but collaboration and innovation and what the Chamber stands for has really been great to help our area businesses with PPE loans and with COVID crisis funding. I know Michelle personally, just a shout out, was really helpful to us when we needed logistical and hotel support during our 42 refueling outage. So just a big shout out to Michelle for all she does to reach out personally to the businesses. DTE has been very, very committed to helping during the COVID-19 crisis. We've donated over 1 million masks to first responders throughout Southeast Michigan. In Monroe County alone, we've donated about 20,000 masks to Monroe County Emergency Management for first responders. We've set up crisis funding efforts, 25,000 to the Community Foundation, 10,000 to the United Way, 10,000 to the MCOP to help feeding families and children in the community. I too am extremely proud of the collaborative that this community's had coming together with the United Way, with the Community Foundation, with area businesses. As Sue had mentioned, many of you are here today, but Lazy Boy, First Merchants, ProMedica, ITC, and others that have come together to help fund COVID crisis efforts around the community. Most recently, trying to help fund and support our schools, right, for important IT and connection to internet for students in need that may be taking school virtually and need that support because the IT situation in their community is not as strong. So it's important that we all come together, and I think we've collaboratively been doing that. And I just want to say thank you to the leadership of the Monroe Chamber for all that they do to help our businesses in Monroe County. On behalf of DTE Energy, thank you.
Thank you, Molly, and thank you, DTE. Our next batter from the Monroe County Community Credit Union is Kate Hall to tell us what's happening at the credit union.
Well, as some of you may know, we are very glad to welcome Christine Brenner, our new CEO and president of the credit union. She would certainly be here today, but she is running her first entire company meeting right now. So I know that she's looking forward to meeting many of you and getting involved in the Chamber and Rotary and different organizations in the community. It's always wonderful to hear the different stories of the companies who live, work in this community, the companies that make up this community. When COVID started, we had some difficult decisions to make, as we all did. We were an essential business, which meant that we had to really prioritize our team. But as an organization that really focuses on and puts a lot of value in community outreach, it was challenging for us to go from being at these events seeing everyone, being able to lend a helping hand to an organization who's small and just needs a couple extra people or just needs a couple $100. And we had to stop that outreach because we had to make sure that our team members were safe and that our doors were kept open, not in the way that they were prior to COVID. But I worked really hard to come up with something that we could still do. So we have a campaign that is not about the credit union. Our business is this community, just like Lazy Boy, DT, First Merchants, Chamber of Commerce, everyone who's here United Way. All of our businesses are this community. So we created a vehicle called Monroe Strong. Some of you may have seen it. But it's basically a way for us to thank others for what they've done and what they continue to do over the last, 6 months, 10 years, I don't know how long this has been going on. And it's just a way to safely, in a socially distant manner, bring all of the stories of the wonderful things that have been happening in this community under one umbrella. I know that we're very fortunate in this business connection, this business community, to know what each other are doing, but I really wanted to create something that was not about the individuals or not about the businesses. It was about highlighting it all. To create one place to really highlight all the wonderful people and organizations that live here and let Monroe know you should be proud of living here. We have wonderful people doing wonderful things just because they can, not because they have to. So if anyone would like to learn more, or if you have some stories that you're thinking of in the back of your mind of people who could use a thank you for maybe work that has gone seen or unseen, I want to help give you a way to draw some attention to that. So reach out to me. Michelle has my contact information. Many of you have my contact information. But yeah, that's what we could do to help others during this time. And yeah, appreciate it. It's wonderful seeing everyone, and excited to hear what's going on at the Chamber. Thank you.
Thank you, Kate, and thank you to the Monroe County Community Credit Union. This is one of those few remaining last awkward times where I get to introduce myself. So I am glad and proud and so excited to say that More Buds Law is a sponsor of this Chamber event and moving forward of the Chamber's Coffee Club. Some of you may say, what's More Buds Law? And hopefully maybe some of you already know, but I'm very excited to announce that Catherine Moore and I have made a decision to start our own firm. We're going to be located here in Michigan. Actually, you can walk across the street and see my office after if you want, over on West 1st Street. It was a great time with my prior association, and I'll say with RCO Law. I had very much enjoyed all the time with them, but it became a time for the two of us to truly be local. Some would say a crazy idea to start a new law firm in the middle of a pandemic, but we thought what better time than to truly be available, efficient, and have things in order for ourselves and our clients moving forward. And so we are very excited and very happy about that transition, which was effective July 1st. Still providing all the same services that we did before. So whether that be for your business and your business planning, your real estate needs, any succession or estate planning or probate issues, I'm happy to talk about any of those. Obviously, it's not directly relevant unless you are involved in a municipality, but obviously I do and continue to do work for municipal government as well, and we're very proud to continue that as well. Obviously, life has been crazy for all of us in doing that and starting things, but we're taking all the appropriate precautions and making the outreach that we need to clients who are having stress during these difficult times. And so whether that's what do I do with my employees, how do I help my business survive this issue, those are all things that we've been able to talk about with folks, and I'd be happy to talk with anyone about those moving forward. So we're very excited about that situation and appreciate all the support and the relationship that we've had with the Chamber and all of its members. So very excited about that. Thank you. Our other support sponsors for today are the Mannequin Smith Group, and I saw some representatives. I think Barry is here. Thank you to the Mannequin Smith Group. Thank you to First Merchants Bank. Thank you to Krebs Building. And thank you to River Raisin Security and Technologies, LLC, and Derek Arnold. We'd also like to thank, and for those of you that don't know, with Derek, he is our, I'll say, technological guru in helping us get through these times, streaming our events to YouTube and dealing with those sorts of things. And of course, we would be very remiss if we didn't thank the River Raisin Center chamber's been and where the chamber is going. And I think what I would say is you kind of have the, and I don't normally get to be this guy, the old school outbound retro guy and the fresh new what's going on with the chamber guy, right? So we're here at
Matthew, can I interject a little bit?
Absolutely.
Probably will do that throughout your presentation here. When you come to the fork in the road, take it.
Well, we're going to do just that. We're going to take the fork, trying to talk a little bit about what I'll call maybe the chamber dead ball era. For those of you who are baseball aficionados, we're going to go way back and say, you know, there were a number of things that the chamber had always done, and there's some that the chamber will continue to always do, but we're looking for a new, energized, and more conscious Monroe County Chamber of Commerce. And I think you've seen some of the past things over the 50 years, our golf outings, legislative lunch, and business networking. Some of those things are going to always continue and are going to always be important to the chamber. But, much like we saw the Tigers making some recent call-ups, bringing in the youth and the new generation for the Tigers. If any of you watched last night, Casey Mize with a good first outing. Didn't get the win, but I'll say some impressive stuff and some hope for the future. That's the same kind of hope that we want to have for the chamber. And so in that bottom of the first inning, we look at the future and we look and say, all right, do membership dues make sense? Is that something that's going to always be required? Or are those things long gone, essentially like a home run? And should we be looking instead for investment? And what can the chamber deliver for those that make the investment with the chamber so that that's a two-way street? And that's really been our focus here in the first inning of our chamber game today. One thing I'll say is, you know, you have your tools, and I put them up here. You know, I think of kind of the old chamber ways of thinking is, you know, look, the wood bat, right, always sounds good. It's kind of that old school, you love to hear that noise, but I'll say sometimes, every once in a while, you got to go to bat, and you got to bring in kind of the new tools, right? So we brought in the new tools. It's still the same game, we're still going to provide the same type of services, but in a new way, and that's with a new tool. And so when you think about that, we've been putting into place what we'll call our second inning, looking at our innovation and our collaboration. And we had a while back talked about a new mission statement, a new vision, and the mission is to promote the growth and success of businesses in Monroe County. Now that has been a fairly minor change. That's always been a mission of the chamber, but the vision now is to foster innovation and collaboration. And I will say our circumstances have been difficult over the last 2 years for a number of things that I'll talk about, but that remains the core vision that the chamber is looking to achieve, and that we'll rely on all of you as its investors to assist with as we move forward.
Matthew, you know 90% of this game is half mental.
Indeed it is. And when you think about that and you look at your mental situation, you have to ask yourself the question, all right, is the chamber providing for me what I need? And also I'll say, I feel a little bit like maybe this is a political type speech, ask not what you can do for your chamber, but what the chamber can do for you, or vice versa, right? I mean, this is a back and forth. The chamber wants to be a partner with its local businesses so that we have that investment making sense. To that thing, as we come to the end of our second inning here, I'll invite all of you, before you leave, if you want to visit the chamber souvenir stand here at River Raisin Center for the Arts Stadium. I know we have some chamber merchandise that's available for those investors that are interested, so be sure to check out the chamber souvenir stand before you leave our event here today. As we come to the third inning, our main goal is to think big and be bold. And I will say this is something that Michelle has been a strong supporter of over the entire time that I've been on the board, but we look back to a 2015 chamber study, an industry study by the Horizon Initiative, that said that the chamber industry was going to undergo significant changes in the upcoming decade. We weren't sure what that was going to be like. And Michelle encouraged all of us on the board and in the leadership to pay attention to those changes, be aware. And I will say a big part of that, as we come to the bottom of our third inning, was the conscious business movement. So instead of sitting back, waiting, having problems develop that were going to be difficult to overcome, the chamber started down a path to reinvent itself. And so I say it's sort of that rebranding, right? I mean, when you go from your 1960s Tigers jersey to your 90s jerseys up to today's. And maybe the Tigers aren't a great example of that since they have one of the most classic home uniforms that's ever been, in my opinion, or perhaps Dr. McNew's Yankee pinstripes there. Every once in a while, you need some refresh and some reinventing. And so the Chamber of Commerce forged down that path of a conscious business emphasis. And I think for those of you, and I know many of you here today, have been involved in that process and have been aware of what the Chamber has talked about in that regard, there'll be even more emphasis on that coming up with our business summit. Now, as we'll talk about, almost everything in our world has been upended with what you can attend in person and what events we have available to us. But on Thursday, August 27th, will be the Business Summit, making availability for, I'll say, limited number of people present in person, and also looking at technological answers for that as well. So we look forward to that.
Matthew, you got to be very careful if you don't know where you're going, because you might not get there.
Well, that was always the goal for the Chamber, right? We may not know exactly where we're going, but let's have a path, right? So as we look forward, obviously we're working towards team building and experiential training so that we get that knowledge that we need to know where we're headed here in the future. So as we move to our fourth inning, we always like to talk a little bit about statistics. And so as we go through our game here, it's time to check in from time to time and determine where does the Chamber's stats stand. Well, I'll say from a financial perspective, I think all business, including the Chamber itself, has been affected by the COVID situation. Even during the most recent months, though, the Chamber has been pivoting, living within its means, and taking appropriate steps. So I will say there were some difficult decisions and some difficult meetings and some things that had to happen really in the, I'll say, the core of what I hope is the only wave, but I'm going to call the first wave right now for the COVID situation. And the Chamber made some difficult decisions, and we've been able to bounce back from those and have, I'll say, a strong financial position as it stands right now.
Well, yeah, the future ain't what it used to be.
Indeed, it's not. And if anybody out there can tell me what the future is going to hold, I'll be happy to take your crystal ball meetings afterwards. We're in uncertain and unknown times at this point in time. And so as we move to the bottom of our fourth inning, the Chamber has really focused not so much on just the bottom line. I don't know if we have the Addams family with us here today, but I will say we're focused on partnerships and having that family, right? So I want it to be, and I think everyone involved in the Chamber leadership says, this needs to be a family, a cohesive group that can come together and work through issues for both the community, the Chamber, and the businesses overall here. And so the Chamber has been working on reducing expenses, and one of the biggest changes that will be coming for the Chamber in the future is that there'll be an office location move. And so I always say we're kind of taking the show on the road a little bit. The Chamber has entered into an agreement to move to the River Raisin National Battlefield Park Foundation location at Dixie Highway. I'll say it even though it probably might get me in a little trouble, the former multi-sports complex for those so that you know where we're talking about. And the Chamber's very excited about that move. So I say a little bit of a relocation, but still obviously the same great relationships and service. And in fact, we think maybe even more charging forward with some of our relationships with our partners. So we expect that may become a hub for, I'll say, a variety of businesses and local organizations, and the Chamber is glad to be a part of that relationship. So that will be effective come January of 2021. Now, we've been talking about all the great planning that was going on, and I've said COVID probably more times than I ever wanted to. A lot of what was in the works already before COVID. The Chamber's planning was focused on moving forward, being innovative, and coming up with new solutions. That was only all the more accelerated by what happened with the COVID situation. And so as we went through our planning, I'll say our star pitcher, the ace of the staff, Michelle Dugan, the executive director, always willing to throw a curveball. And I say, in some ways, I've got to be maybe, in some ways, I don't know if I'm the catcher to calm her down or the umpire calling the balls and strikes, but we've had a great relationship in that regard.
Well, it ain't over till it's over, Matthew.
Well, and I'll say this is a discussion that we thought was going to be over some time ago with this transition in terms of model for investors for the chamber. And, you know, in the past, we had essentially a small membership fee and then a group that decided to go above and beyond with sponsorship. We are now asking our investors to make a marketing investment that can be paid once. And essentially, that membership will get a free attendance at certain events, a credit towards your base investment, and we also have the ability to build your own investment package. The bottom line to all of that is there's no more real paying to belong. Membership is no longer the model. Instead, it's chamber investment and choosing what you would like to see from your chamber and how best that can suit your business. Essentially, tailor-made packages to meet the unique needs of the business community. And so I say we took that curveball, scooped it out of the dirt, and hopefully we've got that for a good play here for our chamber members.
Yeah, you know, I always thought the record would stand until it was broken.
So, in terms of other records we might be willing to break, is to look at what kind of transformational review we've had. So, I hoped that we would be talking at this meeting back in March or April. We would be, I'll say, at another location having a lunch or a dinner as we have typically done for our annual meeting, but the circumstances did not really allow for that. I'll say we are still focused on that transformational goal. Networking is still alive and well, but it's certainly different. We've tried to leverage as much as we can, having, I'll say, board meetings or other meetings by Zoom or other video conferencing, that we've tried to have events, including the stakeout, which I will say, look, there's no way around it. It was different. But I will say it was a situation where we were able to get a group of people together, adhere to social distancing, take the appropriate steps for masks, and do the things that were needed to do in order to at least have some semblance of, if I can even use this word anymore, normal.
Yeah, we took it with a grain of salt.
Well, we all did grin. I don't know if we could all necessarily see it below our masks, but we did our best. So we always, it's good. So we have a number of continuing events, but each of them seems to have a new twist. As I said, normally this would be an annual meeting. We would have a little bit more of a formal setting, some meal, that sort of thing, but we were able to kind of do it in a, I'll say, socially distancing, modified way today, and we are glad to have you all here today. As we get to the bottom of our sixth inning, we would like to talk just a little bit about our Connections group, which is one of the newer features of the Chamber. For those looking for a networking opportunity, it's a referral-based group that's supporting local businesses with Chamber benefits. And so that's a group for like-minded business people to get together, share referrals, talk about what's happening in their business, and we think that that's a great resource for those here in the community.
Well, you know, if people don't want to come out to the ballpark, nobody's going to stop them.
Well, nobody will stop them right now, though I will say lots of rules out there, obviously, for all of us to follow as we're getting out back into the public. So as we get to the seventh inning, it's a time for our contagious passion, and we're going to take a quick break here in just half an inning to stop for taking out to the ball game in the seventh inning stretch. But essentially, what we're all about now is trying to create that contagious passion. Now, I'll say that comes with its challenges in our times now, where we can't get together as frequently, have as many meetings, get as large a group together. But the Chamber is still focused on getting business through these trying times and coming out even stronger after we get through whatever this situation is going to ultimately deal to each of us. And so as we stop here for the seventh inning stretch, I'll invite all of you to take a quick stretch. Consider.
It's a good thing because I take a 2-hour nap between 1 and 4 every day.
Well, we'll try not to be here between 1 and 4 there, Yogi, but essentially as we come here to the seventh inning stretch, you know, it's also a time typically in the game when it's time for a pitching change, and the pitcher's arm, he's getting tired, and it's time to pass that ball to our next pitcher, and so...
You know, I made another observation, Matthew. You know, Little League Baseball is a very good thing because it keeps the parents off the streets.
They need that sometimes, I think. So I'll ask you all stand for the 7th inning stretch here. We'll take me out to the ball game in the background, and while we do that, this pitcher's tired. It's time for the passing of the ball, and we're going to the bullpen. Dr. McNew, our 2020 chairperson, is going to take the reins from here, and it's been a pleasure. And I'll be watching from the dugout to have you close this one out for the win there, Dr. McNew.
All right, we have a lot of fun up here, but all kidding aside, I never said most of the things that I said, so. You guys know who Yogi Berra is? I've only heard 3 people laugh at my corny jokes. I know I'm ugly, so what? I've never seen anybody hit with his face before. All right, all kidding aside, Matthew has been the president of the chamber for 2 years, and we knew that we were transitioning the organization, and Matthew's leadership has been, he has been our Cy Young for the last 2 years, and in a little while I'm going to recognize him with an award, but if you would you join me in giving Matthew a round of applause and thanking him for being the Cy Young for this organization. I want to know what happened since COVID-19. I think my uniform shrank or something. Has nothing to do with the food that I've been eating, although I see we have a concession stand open out there, and thank you to Tim Hortons for helping my uniform shrink. What a game, what a game. I love this game, and sometimes I feel like Walter Matthau in the dugout with the Bad News Bears. Everybody remember that movie? Yeah, that's probably me. So anyway, we are moving into a time of transition here, and I'm honored to serve as the president of this organization this year. I have been at the helm since January, but because of COVID-19, it's kind of thrown us a curveball. And so there's some things that are going on. It has been very challenging for us as we move into the 8th inning here. I'm the relief pitcher. Probably not going to win too many awards. I won't be a Cy Young Award winner like my friend Matthew here, but we are going to do the best that we can to provide resources to this community. We love this community. We born and raised in this community. This is home for us, and we appreciate the chamber, and we appreciate our partnership. Moving into the 9th inning, we really want to create a remarkable experience. We want this game to be a lot of fun for you. It's been a lot of fun for us over the years, but it has been both challenging and rewarding. I will tell you, to be at the helm. We have had several Zoom calls. We have moved the organization. We have had to deal with some situations that you have as well. And so one of the things that our organization is doing, and Matthew kind of alluded to this, is that we are moving all of our partners and our investors to a January and July payment months, which is a little different. We usually have a certain month that you've been billed. Now it'll be 2 times a year. We'll have the January and the July payment we'll receive from you. So that's going to look a little bit different. Really, some of the things that we think is important here in the 9th inning as we progress through the game is how can you support your local Monroe County Chamber and the team that we have assembled here. Probably the most important thing for this community is to buy local. Either buy local or buy local. I think we might not. We have a campaign that we started this year, and we really believe that. You can buy local or buy local. We are strongly encouraging folks to do your business here in this community. Some of the things that we hope that we can help you do, and that you will help support the chamber. Focus less on administration duties and use more of our creative energy to help in that situation, in that area. We really want to spend some time working with you one-on-one, and please reach out to Michelle. Michelle is in a position where, with her experience and her, she was born and raised here too. This is home for Michelle, and so we appreciate all that she does, and we really want to take advantage of her expertise and her knowledge. No one knows this game like Michelle does. If you have any questions about the rules of baseball, Michelle is your person. I will say that it gets late early out here. That was funny. You guys just don't know Yogiisms, so we'll work on that. We want to pass out some post-game awards as we close out our game today. There's some folks that are not here, but we do feel that it's important that we recognize them. We do have 2 outgoing board members. If you would join me in recognizing Jim Jacobs from Jacobs Architect and Josh Leroy from Advanced Plumbing, I'd greatly appreciate it. All right, I want to also acknowledge our starting 9 from the board here this year. I am Stephen McNeil. I'm the superintendent of the Monroe County Intermediate School District. I'm actually pushing 20 years there. Some of you probably remember when I first started at the ISD. Mark Elliott from Eastman and Smith is also on our team. Eric Bennett from the Manick and Smith group. I'm going to recognize Matthew here in a little bit, but if you notice, the 4 of us, we all go to the same barber. And I was going to wear my hat today, but I was kind of having my hair look pretty good, so we're just going to leave it at that. Karen Essery, Karen, I know that you're here. We got Karen batting in the 5-hole for us. Gretchen Eiler, I think I might have seen Gretchen out there. Can't see anything right now, but Gretchen is from First Merchants Bank. Thank you so much, Gretchen. From Team Solutions, we have Shelly Taylor. From Creative Promotions, Drew Lindecker. And I mentioned Michelle. Michelle, I'm not sure where you're at, but I have to recognize you and your leadership. And before we turn things over again to Matthew, I want to provide Matthew with a special award. For our outgoing board members, we do have nice wooden plaques that we will be presenting them. Is Jim Jacobs here? No. No, but our good friend Matthew is. I mentioned that Matthew has been the Cy Young of this organization for the last 2 years, and he truly has. And with grateful appreciation from the Monroe County Chamber of Commerce, Matthew, I would love to present to you this wonderful Waterford clock from the Monroe County Chamber of Commerce, and once again, thank you for your leadership and everything that you do for this community.
Well, I guess I'd just like to say thank you to everyone. It's been truly a privilege and an honor to serve in chamber leadership, and I will say, back when I was probably a brand new attorney, just getting my feet wet and trying to figure out what this whole business world was all about, one of the first things that I can remember in my career is being at a stakeout in the middle of August, as hot as it could possibly be when it was, and I wanted to do nothing but charge on out of there at that point. It was really, I'll say, it was back in, I don't know, it probably wasn't for those that were around longer, the glory days, but to me, one of the glory days of stakeout, it was still silent auction items, including one that I'll say I'd still love to find out whoever donated it and thank them for my evening that night. Full camping set that was completely set up and somebody bid on, and we got to take all apart and put away for them as a volunteer, right? But I'll say it, I know that he's not here today, but somebody that's been truly important to me, kind of a model in the community, is Tom Allen, right? And so I am out there in the middle of the dark. This is probably between 11 and 12 at night after we had done all the camping thing and got everything set up inside. And I'll say one of the longtime stakeout sponsors, right? Rudolph Libby always sponsors the parking lot signs, and that's fantastic. We appreciate all of that, but at that night, I probably didn't so much at that point in time yet. Pulling out these parking lot stakes out of the ground, right? And that it had been 90 degrees and they're solid in there, right? So all of a sudden this Cadillac pulls up, and it's Tom and Mary Louise Allen, right? And they say, well, we can't let you be out here by yourself. Let us help you do that. And then, okay, what else needs to be done? And then we're back at, at the firefighters park, and we're trying to find a place to deliver any extra food that can be used for donation. And I said, that was early on, and I said, to me, that was one of those signs about what's the chamber really about, what's this community really about, and that's kind of lifting people up, being there as a team, working your way through those issues. And look, it wasn't about, the young guy out there pulling out the stakes. It was about doing something good for the community and being part of that team. And so, I know that's a story I've probably told a few times at various chamber events, but to me, that's the core about what this is all about. And so, I never went into this saying, oh, I'm going to be the chamber chairperson, and I certainly didn't go into it saying, oh, I'm going to be the chamber chairperson for 2 years, right? But I will say I went into it saying, how can I help? What can the community, where can I be to be a helpful part of that? And certainly, without doubt, the chamber has been a great benefit to my business and to me being able to have the practice that I have today, and I'm eternally grateful for that. So, I'm always a little uncomfortable taking the thank yous and the awards. It's been a great privilege to grow and to go from that guy who was in the parking lot to the guy that then I will say was at camp at Leadership Monroe, to then the guy that was in the kitchen at the camp at Leadership Monroe for the following classes, to then somehow being asked at a, I'll say, pretty young age to join the chamber board. And it's been a great run. The team of people that I've been able to work with and work for and be part of the community with has really been fantastic, going all the way back to my Leadership Monroe class and people that from that time, I'll just say, one gentleman who was at the time a realtor and now sits in Lansing as one of our elected officials, right? People that you wouldn't necessarily see the way their life was going all along throughout various things, but you got to have that journey together with them. And so I am personally very grateful for the opportunities that the chamber has presented to me. I'd like to again thank all those that have been a part of that with me, especially the outgoing and continuing board members, Jim Jacobs, Josh Leroy, Steve McNew, of course, Mark Elliott, Eric Bennett, Karen Essery, Gretchen Eiler, Shelley Taylor, and Drew Lendecker. And it goes without saying that I have a great amount of thanks and respect and appreciation for Michelle, and also for Steve Mahalik, who is with the chamber and doing a great job in terms of keeping things on track. It's obviously a lean time right now and a lean team and trying to be efficient and providing the great kind of service that the chamber has always done. So I'd like to thank all of you for your support. Again, it's been a great honor, and I'd like to thank all of you for being here today. With that, we'll kind of conclude our broadcast. Of course, I can't let you out of the broadcast without one final commercial break, so we have to thank our sponsors. We'd like to thank Lazy Boy, DTE, the Monroe County Community Credit Union, More Buds Law, Exciting Windows, Couture by Karen, First Merchants Bank, the Manikin Smith Group, Krebs Building Company, River Raisin Security and Technologies LLC, and our host here at the stadium, the River Raisin Center for the Arts. Again, thank you to all of you. It's truly been a privilege and an honor to serve, and I look forward. I'm certainly not going anywhere